Good evening and welcome to this meditation for the Nottingham Buddhist Centre. I hope you're all very well. We've just got a few moments to go before we start the meditation session proper. But this evening we'll be doing a metta bhavana meditation, which will be fully guided. So if you haven't done the meditation before, then that's absolutely fine. I will talk you through the different stages and make sure that you're aware what you're doing. So I hope everybody is doing well. It's been around about 2 months now since Nottingham Buddhist Centre closed its doors to the public as part of the lockdown for the coronavirus. But I'm glad to say that in that time we've managed to keep our drop-in meditations going. So we do drop-in meditations at the centre 3 times a week. So we do them on Tuesday lunchtimes, Tuesday evenings, and also Friday lunchtimes as well. And they are continuing during the lockdown in this virtual format. And one of the good things is that if you can't make it along to the session, you can watch later on. They stay on our YouTube channel for quite a time. So if you have any questions during the session, you can send me a message on the chat. So if you can locate the chat function, you can send a message there. And as long as I'm able to answer your question, I'll do my best to do that for you. So as I mentioned earlier, it's the metta bhavana meditation this evening. We do 2 meditations at the Nottingham Buddhist Centre, or at least we teach 2 meditations. One is the mindfulness of breathing, and the other one is this evening's meditation, which is the metta bhavana. Sounds like a strange term if it's a term you're not familiar with. Metta bhavana means the cultivation of loving kindness, or sometimes we just refer to it as a loving kindness meditation. And it's something which I think is very helpful to all of us at this particular time. I noticed that last week was Mental Health Awareness Week, and their theme this year was kindness. And I think that's very, very appropriate because there's so many people who are having quite a difficult time at the moment. And we have been in lockdown for such a prolonged period of time. And to start with, I kind of noticed how people were very keen to support each other. But sometimes that kind of energy can be difficult to sustain. And I think meditations like this can help us to just remember the importance of creating positivity in our lives, not only to benefit ourselves, but also to benefit other people. So this kind of meditation helps to do that, really. And I always like that sort of phrase that's often said about how you tend to get more of what you focus on. And I think this is where this meditation can really help, because the more that we focus, particularly in difficult times like we're in at the moment, the more that we can focus on positivity and relating in a positive way to other people, the better it will be for us, and the better it will be for those people that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. So I also have noticed as well in the news, and lots, you can't turn the TV on without hearing about something negative about the current situation, about the virus. And also we see a lot of blame, don't we? We see a lot of people looking for somebody to blame for the situation we find ourselves in. So I like to think that this meditation we're doing this evening is kind of a good antidote for that in some ways. It helps us to remind us of the fact that there are some very positive things going on as well, and help us to connect with that also. So what we're going to be doing this evening is, first of all, we're going to be doing a bit of a check-in, a check-in with ourselves. If you've had a busy day, just to take a few moments just to reconnect with your body, and that really helps to prepare us for the main meditation, the metta bhavana. So in a few moments we'll just have a very short, we call it a body scan. So it helps us just to connect with our body. And then I'll talk you through the different stages briefly of the metta bhavana practice, and then we'll do the meditation proper. Now, even if you've done the meditation before, I often think it's always useful to hear how different people describe how to do a meditation like the metta bhavana, because even if you've done it several times before, sometimes you can just hit on something that somebody says that helps you see the meditation in a slightly different way. So listen into that, even if you have done the meditation before, because sometimes it can help you take the meditation into a different place. But of course, if you've not done the meditation before, that's also absolutely fine. You'll be guided throughout. So don't worry about that. So what we're going to do now is just have a gentle sort of check-in with our bodies. So what I'd encourage you to do, if you haven't already, is to just get yourself comfortable wherever you're seated. And when we're meditating, it's always worth checking our posture, because we're in an unsuitable position that we can't sustain for a relatively prolonged period of time. It really can affect the quality of the meditation that we have. So at the moment, I'm kneeling on a stool, which is how I'm used to meditating. However, if you're new to meditation, perhaps sitting might be the best thing. Sitting on a chair which is perhaps not too comfortable, so something like a dining chair is ideal, because you want to make sure that your feet are nice and flat, firmly on the floor, making good contact with the floor. And if you are sitting in a chair, just make sure that your back isn't slouching into the back of the chair, because if that happens, you can start to feel just a little bit too comfortable. And the one thing you don't want to be doing is to start dozing off in the meditation. So if you're sitting in a chair, those two things are quite important. Feet flat on the floor, sit a little bit away from the back of the chair. So probably a space of about 1 inch between your back and the back of the chair. And also I like to sort of focus on the sensation of the sort of sitting bones that we have. If you can connect with your sitting bones on the chair and your feet on the floor, you're going a long way to creating a good posture for your meditation. So make sure that you are in a nice, comfortable position. Typically, when we see people meditating on TV or on the internet, you may see them sitting in a nice cross-legged sort of yoga type position. That really isn't necessary. Some people want to do that, but for most of us, if we put ourselves into those positions that we're not used to sitting in, we're going to get uncomfortable pretty quickly. So if this is new to you, I would suggest a chair is perhaps the best thing to start with. So if you're nice and comfortable, one other thing as well I mentioned, I have a blanket here, which I keep just on my tops of my legs, because often it's good to have something just to rest your hands on. I'll try and tilt the camera down so you can see what I'm referring to. Okay, so something just to rest your hands on like that, because most of us are designed in such a way that if we rest our hands on our lap, that can start to bring a little bit of tension into the neck, into the shoulder. So if you've got something just to raise your hands a little bit, that also can help to keep you comfortable throughout the duration of the meditation. So if you're all ready, if you're in a nice relaxed position, nice and upright, so the idea is to be alert, but not so comfortable that you're going to start to fall asleep. Make sure that your hands are resting nice and gently, and gradually just take a moment when you're ready to close your eyes. And we're going to be here just for a few minutes. And this isn't the main meditation. This is just to help us reconnect with the body and perhaps put behind us some of the activities of the day and prepare ourselves for meditation. So the first thing I want to get you to draw your attention to is the sensation of your eyes. Just notice how your eyes feel at the present moment. Your eyes should be gently closed, But allow the eyes to relax in the sockets. Make sure that there's no tension surrounding the eyes, the skin around the eyes. If you notice any tension around the eyes, just allow that to gently ease as you soften your gaze behind your eyelids. Just allowing any tension that may be there to gently slip away. And from there, just move your focus ever so slightly and notice any sensations in your forehead. This is another area that if we're tense or anxious, that we can sometimes frown, we can sometimes hold a lot of tension in the skin of our forehead. So just imagine any of those frown lines just gently relaxing. Notice any tension that's there. And when you notice it, allow it to gently smooth away. And then shift your focus a little further to your scalp and also the back of your neck, the back of your head. This is a common area for people to hold tension. Your head should be lightly balanced on the top of your spine. And just notice the sensations on your scalp, at the back of your head, and down to your neck. And just notice if there's any tension, any sense of holding on. Often we don't even notice that we've become tense during the day. So by bringing awareness to any tension, you can do something about it. So if you spot any tension in your neck, the back of your head, your scalp, again, just allow it to gently ease and allow that tension to go. And now move your focus further down to your shoulders. Just notice where your shoulders are at the moment. Are they tense and around your ears? Or are they nice and relaxed and hanging loose? If you notice any discomfort, any tension in your shoulders, just imagine that melting down into the floor. And allow any tightness to gradually soften and ease. We're now going to move to the front of the body. And I want you to notice if you're holding any tension in your chest or your belly. As you breathe in and breathe out, do you notice that you're somehow holding your breath? That you're preventing the breath to drop in and leave the body naturally? If so, just allow some of that tension to slip away as you feel any tension in your chest or your belly, simply slip away. Perhaps just take a moment here to notice the breath as it enters your body, and you notice the rise and fall of your belly as the breath enters and leaves your body. We're going to take a couple of breaths here, and every time you breathe out, just feel a little more of that tension slipping away with every out breath, as your stomach becomes more and more relaxed. And then we're going to move down a little further and bring awareness to our legs, to those big muscles that we have in the upper legs, in the thighs. Have you any tension or tiredness here at all? Is there any sense of holding on to something? If so, as you become aware of that, just allow it to gently ease. And notice the sensations that you feel in your legs at this moment. Perhaps have a sense of that tension just gradually slipping away into the floor. And keeping alert to what's happening in your body, move your attention back from your legs to your belly, to your chest. And as we move back up through the body, notice if any tension has crept back in from the last time that you were focusing on that area. And if so, just take a moment and see if you can find a way to let that ease gradually. As you move up to your shoulders, your neck, the back of your head, the scalp, the forehead, and your eyes. Just take a moment to make sure that the focus in your eyes is soft and relaxed. And in a moment, I will ring a bell and invite you to open your eyes in your own time. So hopefully that's helped to focus you a little bit and prepare you for the main meditation this evening, which is the metta bhavana. And as I mentioned before, that means the cultivation of loving kindness, which is quite a mouthful, but it's actually quite a straightforward meditation in some ways. But I will explain the different stages of the meditation practice to you now, because I always feel that the metta bhavana is a practice that it's worthwhile just preparing for, just for a moment before you actually do the meditation. that's probably good advice anyway, that if you are going to meditate, it's always a good idea just to take a few moments just to settle. You might do a body scan similar to what we did, just to connect with your body first of all, rather than just sitting down or kneeling down and getting into the meditation straight away. You'll find if you just take a few moments to prepare, it can make the meditation much more effective and you will gain much more from it. So the cultivation of loving kindness, then the metta bhavana, what does that actually mean? Well, the metta bhavana meditation, metta stands for loving kindness, and bhavana means the creation or the cultivation of loving kindness, not only for anybody that we may encounter, but for all beings, and that includes ourselves as well. And I feel this is an incredibly important meditation and an incredibly helpful meditation at this particular time, but also at any time. I do tend to think that in life we tend to focus, we tend to, a lot of people have a tendency to identify the negative things in life and the negative things in people. So actually to take the opportunity to focus on the positives is really, for many people, quite a rare thing to do. So I hope you find this beneficial this evening. So the metta bhavana meditation then comes in 5 stages. And in the first stage, what I'll invite you to do is bring to mind yourself. So we start first of all with focusing on you as a person, because it's just as important to create loving kindness for yourself as it is for everybody else. So what we do first of all is I'll invite you to close your eyes, and I'll encourage you to become aware of yourself in whatever way you find that is possible. So for some people, it may mean that you kind of visualize yourself, and in your mind's eye, you visualize yourself. Or it may just be that you become aware, you contact your physical form, your body, and just notice yourself sitting down or kneeling down in your meditation. Be aware of your own presence, okay? And what we then do is we create a sense of loving kindness for ourselves. And there are various ways in which we can do that. One phrase that I think is particularly helpful is to think of it as wishing yourself well. I often think that we are sometimes the most critical to ourselves, and we talk to ourselves in our mind in ways that we wouldn't speak to other people. And that's why this stage of the metta bhavana is so very, very important. And it's really just to remind us that, we care for ourselves, and we want ourselves to be well. We want ourselves to be happy. And many people will sort of focus on that sort of negative, self-critical person that's or voice that we seem to have in our minds, which criticizes a lot of the things we do. And it's going against that. It's actually saying, no, I want myself to be well. I want myself to be happy. And saying that with some real conviction as well, saying it as if you were saying it to another person, but you're saying it to yourself with meaning, like you actually mean it. Another way that you might want to approach this, this kind of well-wishing, this creation of some loving kindness for ourselves, is to use some short phrases. And it's important not to use these in a sort of mechanical way, but again, say them with some meaning, and say them to yourself in a caring and kind and caring way. And these 3 phrases, which are commonly used, are: may I be well, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering. Okay. So you can just allow those, as you focus on yourself, just to drop in whenever you feel they're appropriate. But Don't feel you have to use those if you don't want to, but I'll prompt you that you might want to try those as we go through the meditation. So that's the first stage, where we're wishing ourselves well, bringing ourselves to mind in whatever way you choose, whether it's visualization or whether it's just being aware of your presence here and now, and just wishing yourself well. Okay. So that's the first stage. After that stage, I'll ring a bell and I'll encourage you to think of a friend, somebody that probably about your age, not ideally not a member of your family or your partner or somebody close to you, because the relationship that we have with members of our family is quite different to the feelings that we have for a friend. We can worry about those later on, but for this stage, I want you to choose a friend, the kind of person that if they walked in the room now, you'd be absolutely delighted to see them. Okay, or if you were at an airport waiting for them to arrive, they're just flown into the country, and you saw them appear, and you would feel a kind of heartfelt warmth towards that friend. That's the sort of person that we need to be looking for. Somebody who we genuinely have a lot of positive feeling for already. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring them to mind. And that can mean that you can perhaps visualize them. So you'll be doing this with your eyes closed. But if you can picture them in your mind, that's one way. Or a way that I find particularly helpful is just to imagine that they're there in the room with you. Imagine their presence in the room with you. I'm not so good at visualizing things. Some people are, some people aren't. So this might be something that you might find helpful if visualization doesn't work for you. So if you can't picture that person in your mind, perhaps just imagine they were there in the room with you. And we do the same thing as we did in the first stage, but this time we're wishing them well. And we can use the phrases again. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. And again, try not to make that become something which is just repetitive and mechanical, but something which you are saying with some real feeling behind. So that is the second stage. So the first stage is yourself. The second stage is the friend. The third stage is sometimes referred to as the neutral person, but I feel I need to explain what that means. So the neutral person would be somebody that you recognize, somebody that you see around, but you don't have any positive feelings towards them necessarily, and you don't have any particular negative feelings as well. So it might be somebody that lives on your street, or somebody that you see in a shop on a regular basis, or probably not so much in shops at the moment, but somebody that you recognize, a face that you recognize, but you pass them by a lot of the time. You probably don't, you don't really acknowledge them too much, and you don't have a positive or a negative, really great feeling towards them either way. And what I want you to do is to bring that person to mind. Again, you could visualize them, you could imagine being in their presence, imagine them being there with you. And once again, you're going to wish that person well. And you can do that again, if you wish, with the phrases, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. And then the fourth stage, after the next bell, this is sometimes a little bit more challenging, because the fourth stage is, sometimes it's termed the enemy, but that's quite a strong word. So it's somebody who you don't probably get along with that well. We all have them. We all have people that for one reason or another, we find it difficult to connect with. And I should say, I wouldn't in this stage choose a really strong example, because if you go picking somebody who you have a very, very strong reaction to, it's quite difficult to work with that sometimes. So somebody that you're not that keen on, that you have some dislike of perhaps, but not a really somebody who's going to create a really strong reaction in you. And having created all that metta, all that loving kindness for ourselves, for our friend, for the neutral person, Now what we're going to try to do is bring the enemy person to mind and to try and create some positive emotion for them, and to imagine ourselves wishing them well. And that can be hard because sometimes our reaction, our natural instinct is that we don't want to do that. But if we can find a way to wish people well, even those people that we don't particularly like, the benefits can actually be very, very positive. So again, we can imagine being in their presence, or perhaps imagine them in our mind's eye, and we're going to wish them well. So that means that we're going to either just have a sense of wanting them to be well, or we could even, with the enemy, it's sometimes quite helpful to perhaps see a different side of them, because your judgment of that person is going to be based on your experience of them. But they probably have a loving family at home. They probably have friends that like them, almost certainly. So perhaps trying to see that person in a broader sense can be helpful in this stage, but at the same time wishing them well. And again, you can use the phrases, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. And what I should say is, when you're using those phrases, they're not out loud. It's just gently in your mind turning those phrases over and trying to create that sense of well-wishing. And then we move on to the final stage, the fifth stage. And what we do here is we bring all of those four people that we've focused on together again. So imagine, obviously, a sense of yourself, but a sense of the friend, the neutral person, the enemy, and try to create loving kindness, try to create that sense of well-wishing for all of them equally. So again, you can use the phrases, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. But this time we're trying to bring all four of those people together and to wish them equally well at the same time. Then we move out from those four people, and we can begin to bring in other people as well. So this is where it's okay to bring in your family, to bring in your, other friends, people you may see on the street. But sometimes it's quite nice to think, well, how about everybody in this building, everybody in my street, everybody in my town or city? And you could even take it further than that, to the whole world even. But expanding out that sense of well-wishing, not only to humans, but to all sentient or living beings as well. And that is the last stage. We expand our sense of well-wishing out even further to all living beings, all sentient beings. So we will give that a go. And we're going to spend about 20 minutes doing that. So I will guide you fully through the meditation. But if for now you would like to just make yourself comfortable again, make sure that you're in a nice, alert, but not too comfortable position, and somewhere where you're going to be able to rest comfortably for the next 20 minutes. And I'll ring bells for each of those stages and guide you through as well. Okay, so if you're ready, if you would like to close your eyes, maybe just take a few breaths here, a few natural breaths to reconnect with your body. The metta bhavana. So first of all, I'd like you to become aware of yourself sitting in the position where you're at the moment. Be aware of your body in space, the space that your body takes up. Take 1 or 2 gentle breaths, just noticing the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body at its own pace. And having this awareness of yourself as a living being sat here meditating, choose to wish yourself well. We can often be very critical of ourselves. We can be our own worst enemy. But this is an opportunity for you to remind yourself that you want yourself to be well, to be happy, and to be free from suffering. So not forcing anything at all, but just with this gentle awareness of yourself, or maybe even, if you can, picturing yourself before you. Just being aware of yourself, gently wish yourself well, and perhaps allow the phrase, "May I be well," "May I be happy," "May I be free from suffering." In your mind, try to use these phrases not in a repetitive or mechanical way, but in a way that has some meaning, some genuine feeling behind it. Wish yourself well. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. If it helps, you may choose just to use your name and tell yourself, "May I be well. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering." If your mind wanders, that's okay. Minds do that. But if you notice yourself thinking, focusing on something else, just gradually bring your awareness back to yourself, here and now, as you wish yourself well. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be free from suffering. And as you wish yourself well, at the same time, notice how that feels, as well as wishing yourself well. Allow yourself to accept those good wishes and notice how that affects you. One thing that connects us all is that we all want to be happy. We all want to be well. We all want to be free from suffering. And you are no different to anybody else. So with that in mind, may I be well. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. And keeping your eyes closed, allow your focus now to move away from yourself and onto a good friend, somebody who you have a lot of positive feelings towards, a good friend who, if they were here with you now, would make you feel happy. It would make you want to wish them well. So whether you imagine them or can see them in front of you now, or want to imagine that they're here in your presence, have a sense of this person being here with you. And say to them, may you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. As you keep a sense of your good friend in mind, let them know your wish. Let them know that you wish them to be well, to be happy, and also to be free from suffering. Try not to force this feeling. Try not to force anything, but allow the gentle sense of well-wishing to arise as you bring to mind your good friend. And if it helps, drop in the phrase, may you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. And whether you are imagining your friend or visualizing your friend in front of you, or just having the sense of them in your presence, imagining them being here, wish them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. And once again, if your mind begins to wander, as soon as you notice that, Just bring your focus back to your good friend. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. And now gently moving in the third stage, our focus from our good friend to somebody that we recognize but don't have any strong feelings for, either positive or negative. Sometimes we refer to this as the neutral person, a familiar face, but somebody that we have no strong feelings towards. And just reflect for a moment that even though we don't know them well, and we don't necessarily like them or dislike them, that this person is also a human being, a living being like you, with family and friends possibly, but also somebody who, in common with you, simply wants to be happy, wants to be well, and doesn't wish to suffer. So bringing this person to mind, whether you see them in your mind's eye, or simply imagine them being here and now in your presence. Choose to wish them well, acknowledging too that, like you, they just want to be happy, just want to be well, and don't want to suffer. And wish them well, perhaps with the phrase, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. May you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. Even people that we don't know well want the same things that we do, fundamentally to be happy. So recognize that similarity in them and you and all beings by wishing this familiar face, wishing them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. Because we don't have a strong feeling, either positive or negative, towards our neutral person, our familiar face, sometimes it can be harder to retain our focus and to continue to wish them well. So if your mind does wander, that's okay. Just gently bring your focus back to the neutral person, the familiar face, as you wish them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. Moving into the fourth stage of the practice, now I want you to bring to mind what we sometimes refer to as the enemy, or somebody who we have some sort of negative feeling towards, dislike, perhaps. Somebody who we find it difficult to get along with, who we maybe even see as different to us. And that can sometimes mean that when we bring them to mind, it can create negative feelings towards that person. But I invite you to bring that person to mind and either see them in your mind's eye or imagine them being here with you at this present moment. And just reflect for a moment that even though you perhaps have difficulty with this person, maybe not everybody does. That there is more to this person than what you have seen and experienced. And even if it's somebody that you find it hard to get along with, they too want to be well. They also want to be happy. And they also wish to be free from suffering. So recognizing that in them, as well as with yourself, recognize that they wish to be well, wish to be happy, wish to be free from suffering, and choose to express that by wishing them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. Because it is possible, even for people that we don't like or find it difficult to get along with, it is possible to wish them well. So keeping this person in mind, allow yourself to wish them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. If your focus wants to go elsewhere, whenever you notice, simply bring your focus back to the person that you've chosen as you wish them well. And in your own time, use the phrase, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. And moving now into the final stage of the meditation, bring to mind all 4 people that you have focused on during the meditation. Be aware of yourself. Bring to mind your good friend, the familiar face or neutral person, and also the enemy or person that you find it harder to get along with, perhaps. Imagine them all being here with you now. And once again, with that sense of well-wishing, with that sense of loving kindness that we've created, continue that well-wishing, that sense of loving kindness, equally for you, your friend, the neutral person, and the enemy. See if you can share that sense of loving kindness, that well-wishing, to all 4 people equally. If you wish, using the phrase again, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be free from suffering. And imagine that loving kindness extending beyond those 4 people to other people in your area. Extend that well-wishing to other people in the same building as you, perhaps people in the same street as you, the same village or town or city. Imagine all those living beings, not just people, but all living beings around you, all wanting to be happy, to be well, and to be free from suffering. As you extend your sense of well-being, of loving kindness, even further, perhaps to the rest of the country, to other countries, to people and living beings throughout the entire world, and maybe even beyond that. One thing that connects us all is our desire to be happy. So wish them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. So in your own time, open your eyes as we draw the practice to a close. Thank you for those people that have joined me, and also those people that may be watching this video at a later stage. It's been a pleasure to share the meditation with you. Meditation is one of those things that we never really perfect, and there's always something more that we can be doing and more benefits to be gained from meditation. So whether you're a beginner or whether you're somebody who's been meditating for a while, there's always different things to explore in meditation, but particularly the mindfulness, the metta bhavana, the creation of loving kindness that we've been doing this evening. I feel there's a great need for the world to embrace that kind of sense at such a difficult time. I certainly have gained a lot from meditation in the years that I've been a member of Nottingham Buddhist Centre. And Nottingham Buddhist Centre is quite a unique place, and it's wonderful that we've been able to continue these drop-in meditations during the lockdown. But unfortunately, it does mean that there's without people being able to come to the centre, we do rely on donations from people who are coming along to our classes, who are coming along to our meditations. Nottingham Buddhist Centre is quite a unique place in many ways, because it's run on what's known as a dana economy, which means that we run the centre on donations. And during the lockdown, it means that we're looking at a shortfall of about £1,500 per month that we would have had through classes, through people coming to the centre and their generosity. Now, I appreciate at this difficult time that donation may not be possible for everybody, but I do ask that if you are able to donate, however small or large, that it really, really is very much appreciated, and hopefully will mean that we can continue to share our meditation practice and all of the benefits that Nottingham Buddhist Centre brings to generations to come. So if you are able to donate, I would really appreciate that. We do have a button that you can click in the YouTube channel. So just below where you are at the moment, I believe, you can click on there and donate. But also, if you visit the Nottingham Buddhist Centre website, there are various options there about how you can give a donation to the centre. And because we have had to close our doors for 2 months now, we would be very grateful for anything that you could offer the centre. But if you're not able to, that is also fine. We're delighted to have you coming along and meditating with us, and you will always be welcome to do that, whether you can donate or not. But I thank you for your time. I thank you for joining me this evening. I hope you found the meditation helpful. A reminder that meditations, drop-in meditations, will continue on Tuesday evenings, Tuesday lunchtimes, and Friday lunchtimes as well. So do look out for details of that on our website, and we hope to be able to invite you back to Nottingham Buddhist Centre in the not too distant future. Thank you very much. Take care.